Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. So in this particular video, we are going to discuss about Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Amendment Bill 2022, which has been introduced into the Lok Sabha. We are going to discuss what has been the need or what is the need for introduction and introducing amendment in the bill and what are the significant features and the provisions of this bill. So let us start a topic with a brief context. So the central government has proposed to overhaul the existing Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 and introduce 61 new amendments in the law. These include 3 years imprisonment for committing gruesome cruelty as well as including bestiality as a crime against the animals. So this draft Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Amendment Bill 2022 has been prepared by the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying and has been open for public comments until December 7. Once the public comment has been received, then the bill will get its final form, and depending on certain amendment that can be made further, it will be finally put for the voting procedure, and after that it can be published in the Gazette of India, and then bill will convert into the act. Once the draft is final, bill could be brought either in the winter session or obviously the next budget session of the parliament. Now we talk about the amendments. What are the major amendments that has been proposed with regard to this bill? So first of all, the focus of this amendment has been to make the provisions more tighter with more stringent punishment as far as the cruelty toward animals is concerned. And the first manner in which the bill tries to do so is by increasing the number of cognizable offences under this particular act. Cognizable offences are those offences in which the police officer can arrest a person without having a warrant. Second provision that has been made is that bestiality has been included as a crime under the new category of gruesome cruelty. Before in the, or we can say in the current or existing act, there is no such category of gruesome cruelty toward animals. So what is the gruesome cruelty as defined by this bill? Gruesome cruelty has been defined as any act that involving animal which leads to the extreme pain and suffering of the animal and also is likely to leave the animal in lifelong disability. So that is a gruesome cruelty. And in this context, if someone is found to be engaged in having a gruesome cruelty or having an act that is pertaining to gruesome cruelty toward animals, then the bill has proposed that a fine of 50,000 rupees, 75,000 should be imposed on the criminal and the individual, as well as cost of animal should be taken from the accused. For example, if cost of animal is 100,000 and rather than limiting the amount or fine amount to 75,000, total 100,000 is the amount the person should pay. Not only that, it should also be ensured that there can be provision of 1 year imprisonment which can be extended up to 3 years or fine and imprisonment, both provisions and the both punishment can be given to the accused depending on the aggravation of the crime. So these are the major amendment that has been proposed. Now the question comes that why there has been sudden need for a stringent law. So to understand that, first we have to understand that how in the current structure any accused is persecuted if he has been accused or he allegedly been accused of committing a crime against animal. So currently we have two sections. One is the section 428 that deals with the mischief by killing or maiming animal, that is under the Indian Penal Code of 1861, and second section is section 11 that is treating animals cruelly under the current Prevention of Cruelty toward Animal Act 1960. But under both these provisions, if anyone is found to be guilty, the maximum penalty that he can be imposed or she can be imposed is rupees 10 to 50 if he or she is the first time offender. That means if some individual has been found to be guilty in having some cruel act toward animal, but he has or she has done so only once this or first time in the last 3 years, then the maximum penalty of rupees 50 will be imposed on the person. Similarly, if the person is repeat offender and has done similar kind of act more than once in last 3 years, then also the maximum fine that can be imposed is rupees 100 and a maximum jail term can be imposed is of only 3 months, or in aggravating circumstances both can be imposed. But even in this situation, what we can look that 100 rupees is ridiculously low fine and that does not basically deter any individual from acting cruelly toward the animal. And that is why it was a high time that the imposition of fine or the quantum of fine imposed on the individual and accused should be raised, and that exactly what bill is trying to do. Now, what has been the ground for amendment? So first of all, the Supreme Court of India itself has said that the Parliament is expected to make proper amendment of the PCA Act to provide an effective deterrent. The reason is obviously clear, because the current structure has very low fine and does not act as a deterring, does not deter any individual from committing crime against the animal. Similarly, several political leaders from past few years, including several member of parliament themselves, has been trying to introduce private bills in this regard. And also, the again in recent times, Supreme Court of India also has basically referred that animals are subjected to cruelty either during the sport or activity itself. So government should come up with a new legislation or should introduce necessary amendment in the existing provisions of the bill. So these were the grounds on which government has acted and tried to amend the provisions. So now let us try to understand how the stand of government in this particular regard has evolved. So it is in the month of April 2021, center has proposed for the first time changes should be made in the penalty structure, and maximum penalty imposed should be raised up to 75,000 per animal or 3 times the cost of the animal. Similarly, in the October 2021, the Union Minister for Animal Husbandry, Purushottam Rupala, has said that we will soon bring a bill to amend the PCA Act. And that is why in this particular month, that is in November 2022, government has finally moved in this direction and has taken a right step in the right direction as far as the cruelty against animals are concerned. Now there are some other major proposals that has been introduced in the bill. The first proposal is that government has made sure that it should be enshrined in the bill that it is the duty of every person who is charged or in charge of having animal to ensure that animal in his care or under his charge has freedom. Now we know about the freedom that has been given to the citizens of India, and the Constitution of India has clearly mentioned that what are the freedoms that we enjoy as the citizens of India. However, as far as the animals are concerned, this bill not only says that animals should have freedom, but rather it also defines what kind of freedom we are talking about. For example, it has said that the animal should have freedom from thirst, hunger, as well as malnutrition. Second, it says that animals should have freedom from any kind of discomfort due to environment. Now, this is very, very important point, because what we see, if we take example of the pet dogs, many times people living in India, basically India is a tropical country and large part of India have very high temperature for most point of the year. So people have this habit of petting a dog which belong to a colder climate. For example, if we talk about Alaskan Husky or the Siberian Husky, both these animals require low temperature, cold temperature, because they have very heavy fur, and that is why putting them in the warm environment, in the hot environment, is nothing but a kind of torture. So discomfort due to environment should also be minimized. Discomfort due to environment should basically be avoided. Third is animals should have freedom from any kind of pain, injury, or diseases that has affected it. Fourth, animals should have freedom from any kind of fear and distress. And fifth, animals should have freedom to express normal behavior that is normal for the species, whether it is a dog species or a cattle species or what kind of pet animal we are talking about. So that is very, very important and transformative proposals as far as this current bill is concerned. Not only that, government also has introduced a concept of community animals. Community animals are basically those animals who do not have any clear defined honor, and any animal that is born in a community and the individual or organization, no individual organization has claimed control or ownership over that animal, then that animal will be categorized as a community animal. And as far as the rights of the community animals are concerned, it will have to be taken care of by the respective municipality or the panchayats in the village areas. Now question comes that has there been really incidences of atrocities against animals? So this we can understand from past two incidences. Recently, Kerala High Court has taken a suo motu cognizance after a dog was beaten to death by few people in the Kerala. Similarly, there has been a news and the video that was circulated on social media where a pregnant elephant died after she bit an explosive field fruit. This was also, we can say, that has been done deliberately by some nastier elements of society, a scrupulous element of the society. Not only that, this is not only pertaining to the illiterate or the marginalized section of society, but even literate people, such as recently we have a case of a doctor in Rajasthan, Jodhpur, who allegedly tied a dog to his car and dragged it across the city. So such kind of behavior, such kind of atrocity that people have been doing against the pet animals or doing against the dogs or other species of animals have brought this particular stand of government where the new features has been introduced in the bill. However, there are certain concerns that have been raised by the activists as well as far as the bill is concerned. The first concern is that the bill basically has increased the quantum of punishment, but this is not enough, because unless and until there is a behavioral changes among the people, unless and until there is awareness about the rights and the pain that animal go through when cruelty is exercised toward them, we cannot have a significant changes in the society and society's behavior toward the animals. Second, it says that the bill can also basically we can Second, we can also say that marginalized community will be disproportionately affected with the bill. From marginalized community, we can take two examples. One is the Madaris, who perform with the animals, and second are the Saperas, who basically perform with the snakes. So whether their act toward the animals can be considered as an act of cruelty, and if it is considered as an act of cruelty, they can be fined, they can be put into prison, and not only that, their livelihood opportunities will also be threatened. And thus, rather than focusing upon simply the increasing the quantum of fines, increasing the imprisonment term, government should also focus on bringing awareness and empathy among the society and societal member toward the animals. So what can be the way forward? The reason what we can understand is why we have conflict between man and animals is because rather than focusing on the individual act of cruelty, we have to take a wider view. And we can understand this from example such as farmers who put up electrical fences around the field, and if we try to imprison them, we try to put fine on them, this will be an incomplete approach. Rather, we should take steps which can mitigate the larger issues of vanishing animal habitats and also climate change that is exacerbating the man-animal conflict. For example, a large part of the corridor has been destroyed, and if elephant corridor has been destroyed, obviously elephants have no other choice, but they'll roam around the agricultural fields of the people that will bring them in direct conflict with man. And obviously, if the large amount or the vast field of agricultural crops are destroyed by animals, obviously the farmers will feel angry and can take cruel actions toward the animals. So that is why rather than increasing the punishment, we should also focus on ensuring that the animal, especially wild animals, are able to enjoy their life, able to enjoy their habitat in a integrated manner as they used to do before. So in conclusion, what we can say that rightly as our father nation Mahatma Gandhi has said that the greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated. And that is why the proposal of such bill which deters the cruel act of people toward the animal is a step in the right direction and also envisions the vision of father nation Mahatma Gandhi. So that is all about this particular video. I hope that you understood the concepts behind this bill and the need behind this bill. Obviously, as the bill is introduced, we'll also understand that how effective it has been in the next 5 or 10 years. But that is all for this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. Thank you very much.